Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Welcome to this session on working with reviewers and Elsa. I'm Amber Noland. I'm the Senior User Engagement Specialist for Elsa. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. So you're welcome to turn on live captions. So you can do that in the More Options menu under Language and Speech, and then turn on live captions. And I do ask if you don't mind muting yourself. We will have a session for questions at the end, and you're welcome to unmute yourself and ask your questions at that time. But otherwise, we'll go ahead and get started. So we will run this session from two perspectives. So first, the session from the perspective of an editor who is holding the reviews, and then also from the perspective of a reviewer who will be conducting the reviews. Some of you may have dual roles on a project, and we'll cover that a little bit as well. So when you come into Elsa and you come to your project, and you'll arrive at the project overview page, you'll be able to see at the top here all of the stages that are assigned to your project. You'll notice that this project has a review stage set up. And so then if you are wanting to add your reviewers from this page, you would navigate to this tab, Table of Contents. And you would move into edit mode. And from here, you'll be able to add your reviewers to the Table of Contents page. And so from here, you can click on this icon next to the chapter name to which you would like to add the reviewer. And so then you would select Add Edit Reviewers. And from here, you can select someone that is already assigned to the project, or you can add someone new who will only be working as a reviewer, and that will be their only role in the project. So I have already been added as a reviewer here, so I'll go ahead and select my name, click Done. And you'll see that I've been added here. You'll notice that my invitation is still pending, so I haven't accepted the invitation to review either of these chapters yet. There is the option to resend an invitation. For example, if the reviewer indicates that they didn't receive it, you can also replace them or remove them. And you'll notice this icon next to the reviewer name, this little clock icon indicating that they haven't accepted yet. Once they've accepted their review position, then they will be highlighted or they'll just be marked as plain black or plain text without this clock icon. So to actually send their invitation, so you've now added them to the chapter, and then to actually move the invitation forward, you'll need to select Publish an Invite. And this will then prompt the invitation through, and this is the invitation that they'll receive to their inbox. So it will indicate their name, the chapter to which they've been assigned, the editor's name, and then how they can go ahead and get started. You'll notice here that the email to which they've been added to the project shows in the actual email invitation. So if there's any confusion, they can double check this. And then they can select Create Account to move forward. So before I move into the reviewer process and what it looks like on their end, I did want to point out a little caveat here. So you'll notice that if I move back into the table of contents, there was an option for me to add edit reviewers. So this is because I have that review stage that I mentioned on the first page assigned to my project. If you notice that this is grayed out, then that means that a review workflow stage has not been added to your project and you won't be able to add reviewers. You would then need to contact your content manager. If you don't have a content manager assigned yet, then please reach out to your acquisitions editor or to our support desk. You can reach them by navigating to this help icon and then contact help desk and then contact Elsa. but they'll be able to, one of your contacts at Elsevier, either the help desk or the acquisitions editor will help be able to facilitate that if you do not have a content manager assigned yet. And once they've added the workflow stage, the related review stage, you'll see that reflected again on this page here. They can add it at any stage. So if you preferred it to be in a different position, such as maybe after the revised draft stage, then you could indicate that to the content manager, to whomever is setting up the review stage. But this is another way that you can confirm that you actually have a reviewer stage added to your project. And then for the reviewer to access it, the chapter will need to be moved to this stage in the workflow. So you'll see this chapter 1 is in review stage. And so the reviewer will be able to pick it up immediately. I'll go ahead and move this chapter, Hummingbirds as Pollinators, to review stage so that the reviewer can access it. And so you would just to show that one more time, you would click on either this blue icon here, this little caret, or you would go to the More Options menu. So this 3 dots, and then you would select Send to Stage. And then from here, you would select the review stage. You can enter a note, maybe if you have multiple reviewers and you want to specify which reviewer should pick it up first, you can add that note here. Ensure that Notify by Email is selected. If you didn't want to notify the reviewer by email, you could deselect that, and then you would go ahead and click Send. And so then the chapter will be available for the reviewer to pick up once they come into Elsa. And then one last thing I want to show from the editor or author perspective, if we go back to the table of contents, is if we go back to Add Edit Reviewer, I am listed as a content manager on this project, so I have the option to add a reviewer as read-only or as blind. If you are an editor author, I don't believe you have these options here, so your content manager would need to add the reviewer on your behalf. Read-only permission will not allow them to use track changes or to make any changes to the actual content itself. I believe they'll be able to add comments, but they may not be able to interact with the content at all. And then is blind will anonymize the reviewer so that their information is not visible on the team page, or when they leave any commentary or review information, they'll just be shown as reviewer 1. If a reviewer has another role on the project, such as they're a contributor, then they will not be able to, their information will not be able to be anonymized. So they would want to use a separate email address. If they're using, for example, an institutional email address as a contributor, then they could use a personal email address as a reviewer, and that's how they could maintain their anonymity. Okay. So now we'll move over to the perspective of a reviewer. And so this is how you would send out your reviews once the reviewer has been invited to Elsa. As I mentioned before, they'll receive this email invitation. They can create an account or log into the system. Once they access this email invitation, it will expire. So they should bookmark, I believe it is up here in the URL, app.elsa.elsevier.com/project/list. And if they have any questions about logging in, we do have a guide for reviewers on our support hub that I will include in the recording description once this is posted to our YouTube channel. So that will just provide more information about the steps for logging in. You'll see all that information listed out here. Okay, so once a reviewer logs into the system, we'll move over to a new window. Just rearrange really quickly. So once they arrive to Elsa, they will see all the projects to which they've been assigned. This individual has several projects. Zoom in a little bit. and they'll just search for the project to which they will be reviewing. So, and then they'll go ahead and click on the name of the project. And from here, they'll be directed to their reviewer agreement. So they'll sign their reviewer agreement directly in Elsa. They can review the terms and conditions and then click accept. It will let me know that this is that I've accepted, and then I can click continue. And then it will pop me back out to the project list, and then I can go ahead and click on the project name. And so a reviewer will see the chapters to which they've been assigned, to which are available to them. They won't see the full table of contents. They could see it if they navigated to this tab, but they won't be able to access any chapters that they have not been added to. So you'll see that this one is hyperlinked. And then if I go over to the overview page, I'll only have access to this one chapter. This is also because this is in the review stage, as I mentioned earlier in the presentation. So once a chapter is in review stage, then the reviewer will be able to access it. So from here, I'll go ahead and click on the chapter name. And then I can move into edit mode. Okay, and so from here, they'll be able to access the content. A couple of things I want to point out. So track changes is always enabled for a reviewer. So when they start to come in and make their comments or to leave feedback about the content, for example, they indicate that they want to remove this, that will automatically be on for them. And you can tell that in the fact that this track changes button is highlighted in dark gray, or that it's, you can see that it's different shading to the area around it. And then also this accept all and discard all are another indication that it's on. And so if it were not enabled, then those options would not appear. But track changes is on by default for reviewers. They can also come in. So they'll come in and make their changes here. And then if they wanted to leave commentary about anything, they can highlight the text to which they would like to leave the comment, and then navigate up to the toolbar and select add comment. And from here, they can leave their comment. And then their information will also display in the comment box, as well as the time that they left it. Once a contributor or for the editors or authors, once you've reviewed comments, if you click on this check mark, this will resolve the comment and you won't be able to view it again. So if you're not ready to resolve a comment, then I recommend not selecting this. As a reviewer, you have the option to edit the comment or to remove it entirely, or you can reply to it. Similarly for an editor, an author, or a contributor, they can reply to the comment as well in this field. And so we'll close on that. Another way to see that comments have been added to a certain piece of text is on this right-hand side. You'll see a little comment icon, and the text is also highlighted in gray. Something to note is because track changes is automatically enabled for reviewers, the print preview function and the export to Word function, which is only available to content managers, but just as an FYI, you won't be able to create a print preview, and your content manager won't be able to export a Word file on anyone's behalf because of this. So you'll see this print preview icon is grayed out. So if you have been planning to review offline, we do highly recommend that you review the content directly in Elsa for the continuity of the project. And so all project members have easy access to your reviews. And so please just be aware that you won't be able to take the content offline. So once you have completed your review and you're ready to share that work or to notify anyone else in the project that you've completed your review, you would want to go navigate to this exit chapter icon. So even if you were not finished reviewing, but you wanted to unlock the chapter so that another reviewer could access it, or so the editor or author could access it, or just so you can come back to it at a later time, you would select exit and unlock. This will not move the chapter forward in the workflow, but it will make it available to anyone else. Any changes that you make are private to you until you choose to share them. So if you're done working, we do recommend exit and unlock. This isn't the same as a save function. The save function is actually automatic in the same way that something like Google Docs or Microsoft 365 is. And so you'll see, type a little text here. Type this, and then after a few seconds, there will be a green icon up at the top indicating that the changes have been saved. So Elsa is saving continuously, but whenever you're ready to make your work accessible to anyone else, you can select exit and unlock. And then once you're ready, you've completed your reviews and you no longer need to work on the chapter at any point, then you can go ahead and select exit and send. It will tell me that I have some notifications. Generally, those are probably for the contributor to resolve anyway. And so you can select send anyway. And from here, you can select from the drop down the next stage, so revise draft. And if you're uncertain about which stage you're currently in, you'll see that reflected up at the top of the page up here. So we're currently in the second stage, and I can go to exit and send. Excuse me, I'm in the third stage. So 2 of six stages have been completed. So I'm currently in the third stage. So then I would want to move to the fourth stage, revise draft. And then I will once you send this, you'll no longer have access to the chapter. You may see this option to move a chapter to staff review. This is only really for editors and authors. Once the project is ready or the chapter is ready to be sent to production and it's all been finalized. So you would want to select the next option in the workflow, which would be revise draft and send. And again, you won't be able to access the chapter again, so someone would need to move the chapter back to you in review stage if you needed to complete any further work. Okay. So just again, as a reminder, if you at any time have questions about completing a review or you need a reminder of anything, we do have this FAQ in our support hub to explain these steps in a written format. So you can see the different sections there. And then if you needed assistance at any time, you can always reach out to someone on your project, but we do have a dedicated support team that you can contact through this help icon, or you can access the recording of this video under watch videos. So this is our in-app resource center, and so you can contact the help desk, contact Elsa, or you can watch this recording again here. And I will just really quickly check to see if we have any messages in the chat. And I do not see anything, so I will go ahead and stop sharing. I want to thank you all so much for taking the time today to attend this session, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.